She stepped out of the glossy black car, heels clicking against the pavement like a metronome of power. Amanda Leclerc, the name that echoed through boardrooms and business news alike, had just closed a $10 million deal. Her navy suit was sharp, her hair perfectly pinned. But even the richest cities have shadows, and as Amanda passed the alley behind her corporate tower, she saw something that stopped her mid-stride. Child, curled up beside a trash bin, skin dusted with dirt, hair tangled into knots, clothes several sizes too small and torn from time. She wasn't begging, just sitting there, silent, watching the world walk by as if it owed her nothing. Amanda's hand, instinctively trained to grip briefcases and sign contracts, reached into her purse instead. She pulled out the sandwich she had been too busy to eat earlier that afternoon. "Hey," Amanda said, kneeling beside her, a softness crawling into her voice that rarely found room in boardrooms. "Are you hungry?" The girl looked up. Her eyes, impossibly large beneath lashes clumped with dust, studied Amanda's face with eerie stillness. Then, wordlessly, she took the sandwich. Amanda stayed there longer than she meant to, watching the girl devour it with a kind of practiced restraint, as if savoring wasn't something the world had ever taught her. "What's your name?" Amanda asked gently. The girl hesitated. Her lips moved, but no sound came. She looked down at her hands. Amanda noticed a charm bracelet, dull with time, slipping off her wrist. Amanda's breath hitched. A tiny silver charm in the shape of a lion dangled from the chain. 5 years ago, she had given a bracelet just like that to her daughter. Amanda blinked hard. No, this couldn't be. Her daughter had vanished without a trace, taken from a park in the span of one unguarded second. No ransom. No witnesses. Just gone. And the world had kept turning while Amanda spiraled into grief, burying herself in work until her tears dried into drive. But now, hear this child. "Where did you get that bracelet?" she asked, her voice cracking beneath the pressure of her own disbelief. The girl looked up again. There was something ancient in those young eyes. "A lady gave it to me," she whispered. "She said it was from my real mom." Amanda's heart pounded. Her mind raced. She pulled out her phone, fumbling for photos, scrolling frantically until she found it, the last picture of her daughter before she vanished. "Sweetheart. Is this you?" The girl stared. Then slowly, painfully slowly, nodded. Amanda's hands began to tremble. She reached out, brushing a strand of hair behind the girl's ear. A small scar beneath her left temple, the same one. She hadn't imagined it. But before Amanda could speak again, the girl flinched. Her eyes darted to the alley's edge. A man was standing there. Dirty jeans, tattered hoodie, watching. Not with curiosity but with calculation. The girl's body went stiff. Amanda turned to confront him, but he stepped back into the shadows, vanishing like smoke. "Who is that?" Amanda asked, voice sharp with protective panic. My uncle," the girl murmured. "He says I have to go with him. He gets angry when I don't." Amanda stood. "You're not going anywhere with him." But the girl recoiled. "He'll find me." Amanda reached into her pocket and dialed. "Detective Soren. It's Amanda Leclerc. I think I've found my daughter." She scooped the girl into her arms, and though the child was rigid, she didn't resist. Amanda pressed her close, heart breaking from guilt and hope all at once. At the precinct, things moved quickly. Paperwork, gentle questioning. But even in the warmth of a safe place, the girl barely spoke. Amanda stayed beside her every night, watching the child sleep fitfully in a hospital bed. The doctors said it would take time. Trauma like hers didn't loosen its grip easily. But Amanda waited. And then one morning as the sun filtered through the blinds, the girl whispered, "Mama." Amanda's chest tightened. She turned, voice trembling. "Yes, sweetheart." The girl held out her hand. Amanda took it. "I remember now," she said. "He said you didn't want me. He lied, didn't he?" Amanda couldn't speak. She only nodded, tears falling silently. The man, the so-called uncle, was found 2 days later. Arrested. He wasn't a relative. Just a drifter who had taken a child when he thought no one would come looking. But someone did. Amanda brought her daughter home. Not to a mansion of cold marble and sterile glass, but to a quiet house on a hill where birds sang and the scent of bread lingered in the kitchen. Where time didn't tick in dollars but in laughter and healing. It wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. Because her daughter still woke up screaming some nights. Still flinched at loud voices. Still didn't like closed doors. But every day Amanda was there. Every day she whispered, "You are safe now." And every day, her daughter believed it a little more. One evening, as rain tapped gently on the windows, Amanda found her daughter sitting on the floor of her bedroom, surrounded by scattered drawings. They were crude, made with crayons and shaky hands. Images of a small girl in a dark room, stick figures with angry red faces, chains drawn in charcoal gray. But in the center of it all, one drawing stood out. A woman with golden hair and a blue dress, kneeling down and handing food to a little girl in the shadows. Amanda picked it up carefully. "That's you," the girl said softly. "You looked like a queen. I thought, queens didn't care about people like me." Amanda knelt beside her, eyes misty. Even queens bleed when they lose their children. The girl reached out and gently touched Amanda's cheek, as if confirming that this woman, her mother, was real. Amanda didn't rush her healing. She didn't push her into school or therapy too soon. She gave her daughter a garden, a sketchpad, silence when needed, and stories at night when nightmares lingered in the corners. And slowly, color returned to her daughter's world. One morning, Amanda found her in the kitchen, trying to spread peanut butter on toast with wobbly hands. The knife clinked against the plate, the toast ripped slightly, but the girl smiled. "I want to make breakfast for you today." Amanda didn't cry, but her voice shook when she said, "That's the best toast I've ever seen." The woman who once ruled boardrooms now found herself learning lullabies again. She canceled meetings to play hide and seek. She stepped away from billion-dollar mergers to braid her daughter's hair. Investors whispered. Shareholders frowned. The press speculated. But Amanda didn't care. She had once been the woman who had everything, except the one thing that truly mattered. And now that she had it back, she would not trade it for the world. One afternoon, while walking together through a quiet park, her daughter looked up and asked, "Do you think he'll ever come back?" "That man." Amanda stopped walking. She knelt so they were face to face. "If he does," she said softly but firmly, "he'll find out that I am not afraid anymore. And that you are not alone." Her daughter nodded, small but sure. That night, the girl slept without waking. No screams. No fear. Amanda sat by her door for hours anyway, listening to the soft breath of peace that had taken years to reclaim. And outside, beneath the stars, the world moved on. But inside that little house on the hill, time had stopped. Just for a moment. For a mother who had found her child, and a child who had found her home. The next morning dawned crisp and bright. Amanda found her daughter already awake, perched at the edge of her bed, clutching a worn teddy bear. "Mama," she said, eyes wide, "I had a dream." Amanda slid onto the bed beside her. "Tell me." "I was back in that alley," the girl whispered, voice small. "But then you appeared and you held out your hand. You told me, 'Come home.' And when I took it, the shadows melted away." Amanda stroked her daughter's hair. "Dreams are how our hearts speak when words can't." The girl tucked the teddy under her arm. "I drew it," she said, pointing to a sketchbook on the bedside table. In it was a watercolor wash of gray turning to gold, and two figures reaching for each other across the page. Amanda studied it. The arms stretched wide, the tiny hand slipping into the larger one. "It's beautiful." They sat in silence a moment, sharing the simple wonder of art and memory. Then the girl hopped down. "Can we plant flowers today?" Amanda smiled. "Of course." She stood and held out her hand. In the garden, they dug small holes in the dark earth and pressed bulbs into place, tulips and daffodils that would bloom when spring fully arrived. Together they covered the bulbs with soil, patting firmly, giving each a promise of sunlight. As they worked, the girl hummed a soft tune. Amanda recognized it as the lullaby her own mother used to sing. She felt a warmth in her chest, a sense that the past and future were weaving together into something new. Later, as Amanda stepped inside to fetch lemonade, she paused at the doorway. Her daughter knelt by one of the planted bulbs, whispering to it as if coaxing life itself. Amanda's eyes filled. She realized that healing was not a single moment but a series of small, everyday miracles. A shared meal, a morning drawing, a whispered lullaby, the planting of a flower bulb. She poured 2 glasses of lemonade and carried them outside. Handing one to her daughter, she said, "To new beginnings." The girl clinked her glass against Amanda's. "To us." For a long while, they sat together in the garden, watching the breeze stir the branches of the old oak tree. The world beyond the fence continued in its usual rush. Emails, deadlines, deals. But here time unfolded gently, in laughter and quiet conversation. And though the road ahead would still hold challenges, the nights when memories surfaced, the days when fear whispered from the past, Amanda knew they would face them together. Because no boardroom strategy, no corporate triumph, could ever compare to the simple power of a mother's love. And no darkness, however deep, could withstand the light of hope and home. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of lavender and rose, Amanda gathered her daughter into her arms. "Let's bring these bulbs inside," she suggested. Together they carried the small clay pots to the kitchen table, lining them up by the windowsill where the evening light spilled in. Her daughter pressed her forehead against the glass, watching the soil dark and rich. "I can't wait to see them bloom," she whispered. Amanda brushed a fingertip across a stray smudge of dirt on her daughter's cheek. "And I can't wait to watch you grow," she replied. They returned to the living room, where Amanda pulled out a tattered family album from a low shelf. It was the only one that survived the years of grief and distance. Photos of birthdays and school recitals, of vacations and backyard barbecues, stared back at them, silent witnesses to a life once interrupted. Amanda opened the album to the last blank page. She handed her daughter a set of colored pens. "What shall we put here?" she asked. The girl thought for a moment, then drew 2 stick figures, hand in hand, beneath a bright yellow sun. Above them, she wrote in uneven letters, "Together always." Amanda smiled, tears glinting in her eyes. "Perfect," she said. She took the album back and, with a steady hand, wrote beneath the drawing, "New chapter. April 25, 2025. Her daughter looked up. "A new chapter." Amanda nodded. "Every day we write our story. And this is ours." That night, as Amanda tucked her daughter into bed, the child reached up and wrapped her arms around her mother's neck. "Thank you for finding me," she murmured. Amanda pressed a gentle kiss to her daughter's brow. "Thank you for trusting me," she whispered back. "Sleep well, my love." As she turned off the light and closed the door, Amanda paused in the hallway. In the soft glow of the nightlight, a gift from her daughter, she saw their reflection on the glass. 2 hearts, once broken, now healing as one. Outside, the stars shimmered in the vast sky. Inside, a new story had begun, written in small moments of courage, care, and unwavering love. And as Amanda closed the door behind her, she carried with her the unshakable conviction that no matter what tomorrow held, they would face it together. Mother and daughter, at last home. Morning light filtered through the curtains when Amanda crept back into her daughter's room, drawn by the sound of soft humming. There, on a low stool beside the bed, her daughter sat brushing the teddy bear's fur with meticulous care. Beside her, the sketchbook lay open to a new page. A garden in full bloom, petals unfurling in riotous color. Amanda smiled and perched on the edge of the bed. "Good morning, my little gardener." Her daughter looked up, grinning. "Mama, I had another dream. We were in a field of flowers, and I wasn't scared at all." Amanda's heart swelled. "What did you do?" "She ran to me," the girl said, gesturing to the drawing. "And we danced." Amanda reached for the sketchbook, tracing the swirl of blossoms. "Then let's make that dream real." She stood and offered her hand. "Come on, let's plant more flowers today, real ones." Outside, the garden awaited, bulbs now sprouting green shoots. Together they knelt in the soft earth once more, planting daisies and lilies in neat rows. Every so often, her daughter would pause and press her palms to the ground, as if sharing secrets with the soil. By late afternoon, their fingers were streaked with dirt and their cheeks pink with sunshine and laughter. Amanda set 2 glasses of iced tea on a wooden bench painted sky blue. They sat side by side, sipping slowly as dragonflies skimmed the pond's surface nearby. "Mama," the girl said after a moment, "do you think I could try singing the lullaby I heard in my dream?" Amanda's eyes misted. "Of course." She waited as her daughter closed her eyes and began, voice trembling at first but growing confident. "Sleep, my darling, sleep tonight. Stars will guard your dreams so bright." When the melody hovered in the air, Amanda felt something shift, a gentle untying of the last knots of fear. She reached over, covering her daughter's hand with her own. As the final notes faded, a breeze stirred the petals around them. Amanda watched her daughter's face light up with wonder. "You have a gift," Amanda whispered. "Your voice can heal." Her daughter opened her eyes and smiled shyly. "Maybe it can heal me too." Amanda hugged her tight. "It already is." And in that moment, beneath the generous sky and surrounded by newfound blooms, mother and daughter celebrated the daily miracles of growth, of laughter, of song, and of love stronger than any darkness they had ever known. They rose together and walked back to the house, hand in hand, ready to write the next page of their story. That evening, as twilight deepened the colors of the sky, Amanda asked her daughter if she would like to help her prepare dinner. In the warm glow of the kitchen, they chopped vegetables side by side, the girl's small fingers learning the careful rhythm of a chef's knife, Amanda's guiding hand steadying each slice. They laughed when a carrot slipped and rolled across the countertop, and the girl's giggle echoed warmly in the home that had once been silent. With the vegetables sautéing and the aroma of garlic and herbs filling the air, Amanda retrieved the family cookbook. It was well worn, spattered with memories of past meals, and she turned to a recipe titled Grandma's Stew. The girl leaned over her shoulder, eyes bright with curiosity. "What's Grandma's Stew?" she asked. "This was your great-grandmother's favorite," Amanda explained. "It's comfort in a bowl." She measured spices with deliberate care, then handed the girl a wooden spoon to stir the simmering pot. Together they tasted, adjusted the seasoning, and celebrated each small triumph with high fives. As dinner finished cooking, Amanda set the table with mismatched plates and lit a single candle in the center, its flame dancing softly. Her daughter carried the bowls to the table, proud of her part in the meal. They sat facing one another, and for a moment, everything felt both familiar and new. "Mama," the girl began between spoonfuls of stew, "do you think we could have family over soon? I want people to meet you." Amanda paused, spoon halfway to her lips. A flutter of nerves and hope danced in her chest. "I'd like that," she said gently. "Who would you like to invite?" The girl thought carefully. "Detective Soren, because he helped us. Mrs. Ruiz from down the street. She's always so kind." Amanda nodded. "A wonderful idea." She smiled, imagining laughter filling the house and new connections weaving into their lives. After clearing the table and washing dishes together, Amanda whispering encouragement as her daughter carefully rinsed each plate, they settled on the couch with hot cocoa. Outside, the night was still, and the scent of garden flowers drifted through the open window. Her daughter nestled into her side and sighed. "I love our home." Amanda kissed the top of her daughter's head. "And I love you, my sweet." They sat in contented silence, the soft hum of cicadas providing a lullaby more comforting than any music. As the candle flickered low, Amanda felt a profound gratitude, grateful for the twists of fate that had brought her daughter back, for the strength they'd both found, and for every ordinary yet precious moment they would share in the days to come. Weeks passed, and the day of their little gathering arrived under a sunlit sky. Amanda stood in the doorway, smoothing her suit jacket, an old habit, before stepping into the living room to welcome their guests. Detective Soren was first, carrying a bouquet of daisies. He knelt to the girl's level. "How are you doing, kiddo?" he asked gently. The girl beamed. Better than ever. Want to see my drawings? Next came Mrs. Ruiz, a warm-faced neighbor holding a plate of freshly baked empanadas. She enveloped the pair in a hug. It's so good to see you both together, she whispered to Amanda. As more neighbors trickled in, each bringing a small dish or a cheerful smile, the house filled with chatter and the clinking of dishes. The girl led tours of the garden, proudly pointing out tulips, daisies, lilies, and the freshly planted bulbs, explaining how each had been chosen together. Inside, Amanda set bowls of Grandma's stew and the empanadas on the table. Laughter rose as Mrs. Ruiz declared that her empanadas were world-famous, and Detective Soren teased Amanda about her corporate chef skills. The girl sat between them, sipping lemonade and soaking in the warmth of community she'd never known before. Later, as the sun dipped low, the guests moved to the garden. String lights twinkled overhead, and the scent of evening blossoms mingled with the laughter of friends. Amanda watched her daughter dance barefoot on the grass, her carefree laughter ringing clear. Amanda felt a hand slip into hers. It was her daughter, sweaty and happy. "Mama," she said, leaning her head on Amanda's shoulder. "Thank you for today." Amanda kissed her forehead. "Thank you for inviting everyone." And in that glowing twilight, surrounded by new friends and old, mother and daughter found not just healing, but a thriving life built on love, trust, and the promise of every tomorrow. As darkness settled, the final guest, a local children's choir teacher, stepped forward carrying a small keyboard. She offered it to Amanda's daughter with a smile. "I heard you've been singing," she said gently. "Would you share your lullaby with us?" Amanda's daughter hesitated, then nodded. She settled on a garden bench, keyboard on her lap, and began to play the simple melody she'd learned in her dreams. Her voice, clear and confident now, drifted through the night air. "Sleep, my darling, sleep tonight. Stars will guard your dreams so bright. Night will pass, the dawn will find. Love and light to ease your mind." The guests fell silent, captivated by the purity of her song. Even the crickets paused their chorus. When the last note faded, there was a breathless moment before applause and heartfelt cheers broke out. Amanda felt tears prick her eyes as neighbors rushed forward to congratulate her daughter. The choir teacher knelt beside the girl. "You have a gift," she said warmly. "I'd love to help you learn more if you'd like." The girl's face lit up. "Yes, please." That evening, as the guests finally departed under the glow of string lights, Amanda and her daughter stood at the gate watching them leave, with bouquets, leftovers, and promises to return soon. The house was quiet once more, but it no longer felt empty. Inside, they washed up the last of the dishes together, humming the lullaby. Then, as Amanda tucked her daughter into bed, the child reached out and placed a tiny hand-drawn invitation on the nightstand. It read simply, "Dance with me under the stars." Amanda smiled, heart full. "Tonight." "Tonight," the girl confirmed, eyes sparkling. Amanda slipped out to the garden, where moonlight bathed the budding flowers in silver. There, waiting in her nightdress and slippers, was her daughter, barefoot and eager. Taking her daughter's hand, Amanda led her to the center of the lawn. The wind whispered through the oak tree, and the night sky stretched endless above them. There was no music, only the soft rustle of leaves and the steady beating of two hearts bound by love. They danced slowly, spinning beneath the stars, and in that timeless moment, every fear, every tear, every lonely night seemed to fade. All that remained was the gentle certainty of their bond, and the unfolding promise of dawn as they swayed beneath the moonlit sky. Amanda felt the cool night air brush against her cheeks, carrying the scent of jasmine and new beginnings. Her daughter tucked her head against Amanda's shoulder, arms wrapped tightly around her mother's waist. "Mama," the girl whispered, voice soft as the night breeze. "I'm glad I dreamed of you." Amanda paused, closing her eyes and resting her forehead against her daughter's. "And I'm grateful every day that I found you," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. For a moment the world fell away. The house, the garden, the trials they had faced, all replaced by the simple truth of their reunion. In the stillness, the daughter lifted her head and looked up. "Do you think we'll have more dreams like this?" she asked, tracing patterns in the night air with her fingertips. Amanda smiled, brushing a stray lock of hair from her daughter's face. I believe our dreams will guide us, just as they brought us together. The girl nodded, content. She stepped back slightly, looking around the garden they had nurtured into life. Can we plant moonflowers next? They open at night. Amanda's eyes lit up. Moonflowers. Perfect. She took her daughter's hand and led her toward the flower beds. Together, they dug into the cool soil, planting seeds that would bloom under the silver glow of future moons. When their work was done, they stood side by side, gazing up at the sky, where a sliver of crescent moon watched over them. The daughter leaned against Amanda and sighed happily. Mama, she murmured, we'll always be together, won't we? Amanda wrapped her arm around her daughter's shoulders and pulled her close. Always, she whispered. Through every night, every dream, and every dawn. And there, under the canopy of stars, mother and daughter stood united. Healed by love, strengthened by hope, and ready for all the chapters yet to come. As dawn's first light brushed the horizon, Amanda and her daughter sat quietly on the garden bench, wrapped in a shared blanket. The moonflowers they'd planted the night before nodded gently in the morning breeze, their buds promising to unfurl when darkness returned. Amanda reached into her pocket and produced a small wooden box. Its surface burned with a delicate floral pattern. She handed it to her daughter. Open it, she murmured. With careful fingers, the girl lifted the lid. Inside lay the silver lion charm, the very first piece Amanda had given her years ago, and the tiny bracelet that had led them back to one another. Beneath them, etched into the wood, were the words, "Home at last." Tears glistened in the girl's eyes as she lifted the charm and slipped it onto her wrist. It's ours, she said softly. Always. Amanda drew her daughter into a gentle embrace. Always, she echoed. Your story and ours begins anew today. They stood together, mother and daughter, watching the garden come to life in the soft glow of morning. In that tranquil moment, every trial and every tear fell away, leaving only the unbreakable bond they shared and the boundless promise of their future. And so, beneath the unfolding petals and rising sun, their story reached its graceful close, an ending that was, in truth, a bright new beginning.